If the light in us is darkness, and we don't know or can't realize that the light in us is darkness, that what we believe is true is not true, that what we believe is right is not right, that we believe the things that we should be doing, we shouldn't be doing. How do we know if it's so much a part of us? How do we judge ourselves? Before I go there, I got to continue. I got to run this into the ground, you know. The scriptures tell us to judge ourselves. Now, how can we judge ourselves? What does that mean? We recognize that you reap what you sow. If the light in us is darkness, we think we're okay. So we're not going to be judging the things about us that we think are okay. So if the light in us is darkness, we think that's light, so we're not going to be judging ourselves in areas that we think we're all right. That's why you have so much arguing and bickering in the church, because no one would embrace what they don't believe is true. But we embrace what we believe is true because these truths were passed down to us either from our families, from the church we adopted, or from wherever. We have all these truths, this light in us that's darkness, and we don't recognize it. And we find ourselves bickering with folks. Oh, come on, you know that's not true. You know that's not true. You got to do this. We have all these bickerings, all these negativities that we have with even fellow believers. Why? Because the truth that we have embraced in our particular religions and denominations, that would be the light. So if our light was truly light and everyone had this same light, we would all be on the same page, what we're not. So it's evident that some of us have darkness that we believe is light. How will we know? How would I know if the light that I believe is light in me is darkness? How would you know? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Because this is a believer thing. Because when you're in the world, it's pretty clear. You pretty much establish your goals and you try to get there, but they're jacked up too because their light is darkness as well, and they have their primary light is darkness, the God part of it. But I'm suggesting to you today, you can't tell that your light is darkness. Nobody can, because if you could, you wouldn't be embracing that as light. You would be embracing what is truly light. So nobody can tell if what they believe is light when it's actually darkness. Nobody knows. Okay. So I'm giving you the key. The key is, if you can't tell what you're sowing, because it's already been planted, how do you tell what you sowed? You look at what you're reaping, okay? So, I mean, it's like math, man. It's almost like an algebraic equation. If all you have in the figure is you reap what you sow, but you don't know what you sowed, what you planted. You grow what you planted, but you don't know what you planted. Then how do you find out what you planted? By looking at what you've grown. Okay? Right? That's how you can. If you don't know what you've planted or what was planted in you in the family that you were raised in, came up with you, if you don't know if your light is darkness or not, how do you find out? You find out what's growing. Look at your kids. Look at your life. Look at your finances. Look at your relationship. Look at your health. Look at all the negativity that's in your life and recognize it's the reaping of something that was planted. And if it's negative, then it's a darkness manifesting from what you think is light. If you're going to say it's a weight issue and you're going to continually eating something more than you should, the wrong kind of foods, at the wrong time of day, constantly, and now you're overweight and sick, then you have to realize there's something wrong with what you're finding pleasure in. There is darkness in what you see as light. Okay, if you're having relationship problems because you're continually drinking and you're finding pleasure in drinking, but it's destroyed your job, it's destroyed your family and your loved ones, you have to recognize this manifestation of destruction is allowing you to see what's been sown. It's allowing you to see the darkness that you believed was light, those things that you found pleasure in. If you're finding yourself having constant issues with the judicial system and the local police, and you're blaming them, you need to recognize that that's simply a manifestation, a reaping of what's been sown, okay? Well, what you've been finding pleasure in, what you thought was light is truly darkness. And we can go down the gamut, go down the list. How you're functioning at work. Are you always getting written up? Are you always in trouble? Are you always being called into the office or whatever? Why is that? That's a negative thing. So that's what you're reaping. So that's showing you that what you've sown, what you thought was light, what you find pleasure in, what you think is okay, is really darkness, okay? That's what I'm saying. The light in you is darkness. And in all of our lives, we have certain areas of our lives where the light in us is darkness. And the scriptures tell us to judge ourselves. But how do we judge ourselves if we believe our light is true? How do we know that our light is darkness? Is by looking at the manifestations. There's an old Eastern proverb. If you want to find the mother of a thing, the source of a thing, you look at its offspring and follow the offspring, and the offspring will lead you back to the source. That's what I'm telling you today. If you want to find the light in you, this darkness, look at every negativity in your life, especially the chronic ones, the ones that keep cropping up, that keep popping up. Those are manifestations. That's the reaping of what you've sown. And what you've sown is that light, is what you believed was light, was really darkness. Every negativity in your life. I'm telling you. And some of them are simple. Come on, you go outside and it's a cold day without a hat on or not dressed right, and you get a cold. You thought it was okay to go out. That was the truth that you believed was truth. The light in you. But it turned out to be false. And the reaping or the manifestation of that darkness that you thought was light is that now you have a cold. Every single negativity in your life, the children that you're responsible for, they're going crazy. You might be a good Holy Ghost-filled, church-going Christian and wonder why your kids are all jacked up. There's a reaping there from that which you thought was light, but was really darkness. And it was not only sown in your life, but it was sown in their lives as well. Come on now. Sometimes for me, I mean, I love certain kinds of music, like maybe jazz and, certain kind of rhythm and blues. Come on, like R&B, I came up in the 70s, And so I can affirm that I listen to that music. Even with my son, he was young, coming up. Affirm that music. That music was okay. Secular music was okay. Because I was partial to jazz, especially. So now in his time, it's that rock, it's that rap, and some of it isn't good rap, but he enjoys that. Why? Because deep inside, Dad affirmed secular music was okay. Find the same thing, man. You might be drinking a beer, just a beer, simple beer. You're old enough, it's legal. Just getting a little buzz. Now your kid is out there, smoking weed every day. Man, that's terrible. Yeah, but you affirmed it. You affirmed that it was okay to get a buzz. That light, that what you thought was good, that what you thought was okay was really darkness. That's what you sowed, what was sown in your life, in the life of your child, and now it's reaping in the life of your child. You're seeing it. You see in your life of your child, clear as day, what you grew. Because of what you thought was light in your life, but was truly darkness. And I don't need to, because I know you're thinking right now in your own mind. I'm telling you this, every negativity, any negativity in your life or in those that you've had responsibility or charge over, somehow is related back to you. God has given you charge. When we look at in Scripture, we recognize, man, Adam and Eve were created in the image of God, blah, blah, blah. We recognize even with Seth, how the Bible specifically says in Genesis that Seth was created in the image of his parents. Image of his parents. That's just not at the moment of when you're born, you have 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. The image is a continual process. Just as we grow in the image of the Father, in the image of Jesus, as we are growing and growing in grace and in relationship. Our children are growing and growing in relationship with us, in the image of us. And so they get our positive tendencies, but as well they get our negatives. They get the lights that we know is light, and that is truly light in us. They also get that light that we believe is light that's darkness, and it gets sowed into their lives. And so often our children are a mixture of our good points and our bad points. So we need to recognize that. And as we begin to recognize and begin judging ourselves, recognizing what our negativities are. Too often we try to hide the stuff. We try to hide our negatives. We try to hide our ills. We try to just act like they don't exist. But what I'm suggesting today is embrace your negativities and examine your negativities. Look at the manifestations of what's been sown and follow them back to the source and begin to dig up and root up those issues and give those issues to God. Don't be satisfied. Don't be satisfied. Because we have an opportunity to fix those ills in our lives if we quit denying that they even exist.